Welcome everybody to Reality Miniverse. That is a weird way to introduce this. This is very new to me. If you're not familiar with Reality Miniverse, if you're not familiar with me, I host online reality games basically, and I'm kind of taking the deep dive into podcasting ish, doing interviews, talking to people that have graduated from the thing that I make to much bigger and greater things. So we're giving it a try today. We're going to try out our first interview. I do want to say a couple things up top. First and foremost, this is going to be a podcast, and podcasts, they strive on ratings. So this is our first one. If you're listening to this, go give us 5 stars on Apple. I would really appreciate it. Without further ado, let's get on with it. Let's talk to the person that we all actually want to talk to. And actually, I'll do a bit of an introduction for Mae because I feel like I've known Mae for a long time, and my first impression of Mae was she played Realfoot, Surviving Realfoot, which is a fan-made Survivor game, and it was fans versus favorites. So it was like the best of the people that had played the game, and then new people, right? And Mae was one of the new people, and Mae crushed this game. I think many, including myself, would say that she deserved to win that game, but she made an impression on me where I was like, "This is a powerhouse of a person." And I've gotten to know her much more over the years. We ended up playing games together. And Mae is a great player in these games. I think I've always viewed Mae, and I don't want to say this to devalue anything else about Mae, because Mae is an incredible leader in competitions. I've fought side by side with her in things similar to the things she's doing on 99 to beat. But at the end of the day, what Mae is an absolute social goddess. Okay. I think she wins people over really well. And I'm really excited to see her win all of you guys over here today as well. Here we are. I'll shut up now. Mae, how's it going?
Hi, that was a great intro. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, Mae, I listen, this is all new to me, but I am super stoked to have learned that you are on reality television, because I know for you and I both, I mean, obviously we are playing like fan-made Survivor games. This is like a big deal for us. This is our dream. So
Huge,
I want to start
huge.
just by saying I'm really proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, but I do want to ask, because building up with all like the social stuff and like seeing what type of game this is, again, not that you're bad at challenges. It's just not the prong of your game that I like. I don't know that I would have guessed like Mae is going to be on the challenge only game, but but here it's working out for you. So my first question to you is: did you have any reluctance about the game coming into it? Did you feel like it was your style of game?
So I'll start that off with kind of talking about LRGs a little bit. So I started playing live reality games. One, because I grew up watching reality TV, and it's always been my dream since I saw my first episode of The Amazing Race. So literally like an 8-year-old girl in my living room looking at my TVs, and I looked at my mom and said, "I'm gonna do that one day." And it's one of those things your kids say to you, and you're like, "Yeah. Sure, honey." Like, you know what I mean? So it's always been a dream of mine. So I started playing reality games for two reasons. I wanted to see if I could work with a group of people. I'm an only child. I grew up extremely selfish, extremely self centered. So I wanted to see if I could work with a group of people, get along with other people in a high stress situation. And I wanted to test myself physically. Because, like you said, when you think of me, you don't think, oh, challenge beasts. No, you don't, because I'm not a physical person. I never ran a mile in high school. I didn't do any sports. So that's why I started playing these games, to prove these things to myself. When I applied for 99 to beat, I did not know it was 99 to beat. It was advertised as like a fun new game show. Like, it's going to be like bar games. And I was like, "Oh, perfect. This sounds fun. It sounds low stakes. I can dip my toe in the water. Might as well throw an application in there." I should note that I'm horrible at bar games. I have no hand-eye coordination. Do not pick me for beer pong. I'm better throwing darts with my eyes closed than actually looking at the target. So for me, this was just like like, this is something fun. I want to do it. I want to get out of my comfort zone. And when I flew out to London, they had told us that we were playing for a much less amount of money. So it was really just like a, hey, this is fun. Let me get in there. I'm gonna go meet some friends and have this experience that I've always wanted. And if this is it, this is it. But if it's not, I want it to lead to more things that I've always wanted to do. And then they dropped the million. Then they dropped the million, and it
The
kind of got
big no.
really real from there.
Yeah, I mean that must change it. I want to ask coming in, because there's a lot of people on this cast that had connections coming in, and I want to ask you that as well, but we'll get to that. Um, did you have the opportunity to invite family on there? Did they ask you if you had anybody that you wanted to bring?
They didn't ask me, but I've heard from other contestants that they reached out and they said, "Hey, I'm looking for like you and a friend or you and a family member." But they didn't ask me at all. And I kind of knew going in, I didn't know that they would be public about who was related to who cuz like the games that we're interested in, it's like social, it's strategic, it's like figuring things out, mind games. So I'm looking at all these postings that like the casting person that I went through was casting by Keyshawn on Instagram, and he would post like looking for firefighters, sorority girls, families of 15 or more. And I was like, I'm going to look and I'm going to see which 15 people look similar because I know there's going to be a big family on here. Lo and behold, at the airport, the first person I met was part of the family. He's like, "Oh yeah, 12 of us are coming." I was like, "Oh, okay, I guess it's not a mystery." So, yeah.
Yeah, the Wagners is it's like very fascinating. And again, I'm all over the place already, but like I
Sorry.
guess I'm coming into this. I would immediately think that okay, yes, this is a game of like competitions or whatever. But in the back of my head, I would say there's got to be a round of voting or but whether it be like a traders type, it's something social based. Did you have any perception that that might be something you would run into and like you would feel the need to like build up allies per se?
I think before I got there, I was kind of because I knew like they were looking for these like large groups or people that were already connected. So in my mind, I was like, all right, I have to find these people. I have to figure out who these people are to like know who I can trust because that's where we're coming from. Games like The Traders, Survivor, Big Brother that we've watched for all of our lives and kind of like modeled our dreams around are very like strategic alliances, social. This game has, I'm gonna say like 5% social, 5%. And that 5% being once someone successfully moves on, you can shout at them and give them advice from the sidelines. And that
Mm.
is worth so much. When you're out there and you're in the bottom and you hear people yelling for you or like telling you, like in the tape challenge, I didn't even know I was in final four. I didn't know at all. And then I hear Professor Seth and Michelle behind me being like, "You gotta go, you gotta go." So it's like that can really save your life. So that's kind of where the social aspect comes in. But otherwise, not really in this game.
Completely fair. And I think that probably was an awesome experience to where like you came in and you just got to know people for who they were, and you didn't have to have that underlining like, oh, how are you gonna benefit me? It's like, hey, I'm
Yeah.
here to make friends, and there's a like camaraderie on this show that I really appreciate. I didn't think I would appreciate as much because again, I am like that social like stab people in the back type, but
Yeah. Yeah, you are.
yeah, that's interesting.
I'll say there was some of it when we first came, like before we like went to the studio and like got the tour and met everyone. There was some of that. Michelle, who's one of my really good friends, part of the Fab Five. I met her at the airport. Like it was me and her, three people from the Wagner family, and then Courtney and Lance, who were father daughter duo. And we looked at each other and we're like, "Are you with somebody? Because I'm not with like I'm alone. Are you alone?" So we kind of bonded there. And then later on at the hotel, we were waiting for one of the Fat Wagner family to join us so we could go into London. And that's when we met Sandra Diaz Twine. And
Crazy.
it, like insane experience. But later that night, Sandra messaged us on our WhatsApp and she's like, "You need to come to my room. We need to talk about strategy." And I'm like,
Of
"Stop
course,
that."
of course.
So we were talking about it all started with like, oh, there's a family of 15, like they have to go down. They have so many numbers. And then like truly they're such wonderful people and they're so like loving and accepting of everyone. They're just good people. So and Michelle was standing right next to them in line. So that quickly turned to, oh no, there are people. We don't there's nothing that we can do about it. So
Oh, that is good. So how many days were you there? Can you tell me that?
total filming was 3 weeks.
Oh, okay. That's much longer than I thought. So you guys were like, you had to come back and wear the same outfit every day. Is my first question, right?
Yeah, I get that question a lot. So, yeah, we actually had to buy three of the same outfit. And
Oh,
these little stickers They would have these little stickers that if they fell off or they went and laundered our clothes, they'd just pop a new one on. Things like the ice melting challenge, anything where we were like really rubbing up on ourselves. Some of the contestants, mine was pretty good because it's like a cottony material, but some of the other people's outfits that were more of like athletic wear or different fabric, they would peel off real quick. There's a couple shots you see of like it's just like a gray piece on their back. It's because that's the back of their name tag peeling off. So we had a ton of these that they would slap on there.
That's cool. Yeah. Again, all the great people. I've noticed a lot of photos come out as well of like, I don't know, you guys are like hanging out in a court. Like it seemed like a good time. Like y'all were just friends hanging out at like a cookout. Like, was that the vibe like outside of the game? Did y'all get the chance to like hang out like that?
Yeah, we could do so whenever filming was done, we could do whatever as long as we showed up on time the next morning. It was like,
Oh
don't get
my God, this is
arrested,
awesome.
blah blah. They wanted us back by like a certain time, but pretty much as long as like we were there on time the next day and there wasn't like any issue, like we were good to go. We stayed at this hotel in Enfield and they had like a restaurant bar attached to it, and we made the bar staff our family. Like they knew every night there was 100 people coming in there to get 2 for 12 porn star martinis and just like throw it back and have a good time. So it was great. I mean, we would go every night, have a drink, get something to eat. When we had days off, you could go out and do whatever you wanted. So we would go into London. There were a lot of little groups that formed. Like mine was like the Fab Five. So Sandra, Yoshi, Dee, Michelle, and me, we would really hang out a lot. And then there was the Wagner family that would hang out. Of course, we're seeing a lot of Cara Maria, Dakota, Miranda, Frank. And there was one more person in that group as well that would hang out a lot. Just like little fractions that broke off, but we would always all come back and have breakfast together, go get drinks at the bar. So it was good. It was fun.
That is so cool. I've never heard of I watch a lot of reality. I've never heard of that. I'm sure it probably happens more than I even think it does. But being able to like leave the game and like experience the world. I mean, we get a question from Nathan Luke, who fellow reality miniverse winner. I'll jump to his question because it was a good one. He said, "Did you get to explore to England?" And sad he didn't get to meet you. So what was like your favorite part of England? First of all, was that your first time there?
This is my first time in Europe. So I've been to
Okay.
Australia, Africa, Mexico, Canada. I know Mexico's not a continent, but I've been there. Okay. But this is my first time in Europe. So it was exciting for me because I've always wanted to go. I really romanticized Europe when I was a kid. So it was just, I'm a real travel addict too. So it kind of fed both like my travel and reality, like
That's what I'm saying.
craziness.
This is the best trip ever so far, from what I'm hearing. This is great.
Yeah, yeah. So just I mean just getting to go was amazing. And then we would take we take the tube into London and just go and explore. So like we went around to Chinatown. We had some fellow Harry Potter fans as millennials, I think we all are. So we got to go to platform 9 3/4
That's so
where they
cool.
had like the little carts, like that was really cool. And we were waiting in line, like there was a queue to get to the front where you could take your pictures. And there was this couple behind us that was like looking Sandra up on their phone. And she turns around and she goes, "Yep, that's me. Do you want a picture?"
That's great.
It was
That's so
so
great.
funny. She said, "Look at their phone, look at their phone." So, no, I think just meeting people that were down to travel, like be tourists like I was, because I'm a huge tourist, and really just being able to go to Europe for my first time was great.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, I want to ask because I know you're a big fan of the challenge. You mentioned Cara Maria was there. You seem to like maybe I get side. I guess they're not like real groups, but like you're kind of hanging out with Sandra more. Did you get to hang out with Cara Maria as much? Because I'm a big Cara Maria fan, so
Yeah.
I want to hear what she was like.
So I'm really embarrassed. Actually, I have a really embarrassing story because we could all go to this continental breakfast from the hotel. So a couple of us got in there on Saturday, and then we had Sunday off, and then Monday is when we went for the first time to sign up all of our stuff. So I went to breakfast, and we were slowly seeing more of these people, like Danny Boatwright. I saw Tommy at a table. I was like, "Hi." Like, you know what I mean? It's like I've never been to like any of the like reality meet and greets. Like I've never met any reality people in my life, and all of a sudden there's all these people here that I recognize that I'm playing with. Like I'm one of them. It's crazy. So I had met Sandra at this
You're
point in
beating them, by
time.
the way. I would like to add, you're beating them. This is the crazy part. Good for you.
I'd met Sandra at this point, and I was like, all right, nothing's gonna top that. Like we're good, we're fine, we're done. And I see Cara Maria at breakfast literally do a double take, like cartoon double take, and I was like, May, if you don't say something now, this could be your only chance. So I go up to her and I said, are you Cara Maria? I probably look so creepy. I'm so embarrassed. And she goes, yeah. And I was like, are you here for 99 to beat? And she's like, are you? And I was like, yes. Like I was freaking out. I feel so bad because it was probably like crazy fan energy and she was just trying to have her breakfast. She is super, she's been nothing but nice to me. She is one of those people that prefers smaller groups, smaller connections than larger groups. So I really didn't get to talk a lot one on one with her, but anytime that I did, she was super nice. Minus the time that I was like a stalker fan to her at breakfast when that was on me.
Miranda as well, who has also played Reality Miniverse. So, I don't think that y'all would have made that connection, but it was really cool to see Miranda there. Did you like, I guess you like Miranda? Did you know
Love
Miranda from
Miranda.
Dondi? Yeah.
Yeah, I've watched her on Dondi. Of course, Kim Matina was also on Dondi, and
Mm.
she's a sequester girly. So kind of made that connection. I was like, oh, I know Kim Matina. We were good from there.
Mm.
Miranda is she's just a happy person. Like she wants everyone to have fun. She wants everyone to be involved. Like she sees the good in everyone and just like lights up your screen. So I absolutely love Miranda.
She's the first person to hug anybody they're eliminated. Like, whenever there's an elimination,
Uh,
she is the first one there to hug them. It's so
Now
sweet.
that D's out, D was the
Oh,
hugging
okay. Yeah.
champion.
Okay. Yeah, my bad. I don't want to take it away from D by any means.
Yeah, you are.
Okay, well, okay, so from a question from Matt Hunt. First question is, what was the hardest challenge for you? And then number two, which player was the hardest for you to lose early? So I'll let you take both of those.
Yeah, so I was actually thinking about Matt Hunt today because I saw a tattoo of a spaceman, and if you know, you know. But I can only talk about the challenges that have already come out. So
Right.
bear in mind that these are only the ones that we have already seen. I would
Mhm.
say hardest challenge, the one that I freaked out the most on, and they really didn't show me a lot on it, was the frozen pants. Like I had a breakdown. It literally felt like I was in the CrossFit class from hell. Like it was horrible. Like I never want to see a pair of like frozen pants again. Like they dropped them on the floor and they like clattered before they settled. That's how frozen they were. It was tragic. Like you saw people trying to rip them apart and they would not come apart. So all you hear, I think more what it is like this game really taught me that like you need to focus in on yourself and stop worrying about what's around you until you're good, and then you can kind of focus on that, because that happened to me in the tape challenge too. I had a plan going in. I was going to do small sections, tear it off, put it to the side so that it wouldn't clump up. And all of a sudden after the klaxon or the buzzer goes, you just hear tape ripping. Like no one's talking, it's just tape, like hundreds of rolls of tape being unrolled, and then you panic. And I did my thing. I pulled the tape, I tore it off, I set it to the side, pulled my tape, tore it off, set it right on top of my other pile. So then I was just left with this big pile of tape that I could do nothing with. But shockingly, I don't think that was the hardest one. It took me the longest. Like I was out there sweating. That's why I had this off, because it was sticking to everything. And that's why I took my
Mm.
socks off, because my socks were sticking to the tape. Like this is the stickiest tape you've ever seen. But I really had a breakdown in the frozen pants. And Professor Seth, can't talk him up enough. He is a fantastic human being, so great at calming you down. And he's from Columbus, which is where I lived for a while, and we had never met each other before this, so that was a crazy connection to make too. But he was just like, "No, you're doing good. Stay consistent. There's people that are in worse shape than you." And I was like, "All right, locked in. Let's go." But I'm glad I never have to see a pair of frozen pants again. Second
I
part of
I
this.
suspect you won't, unless somebody's like actively bullying you and trying to trigger you. I don't think
Can you
you'll run into
imagine?
this again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
allergies
next
don't
time
do
I see you,
this.
May, I'm gonna have a freezer of frozen pants for you. Okay.
Yes. And
Oh, and the
then
second part of that question, yeah.
who was the
Who
hardest
did?
to lose?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so like naturally my answer is going to be Sandra and Yoshi in the first challenge because they were the first two people of our large group that kind of got out, and that's kind of when it sunk in that I was like, oh shit, this is real. Like, oh, like we go home, like we can get out. This isn't just all fun and games anymore. The person that I was the saddest so far, to like heartfelt sad to lose so far, was Jim. I love Jim so much. He
Yeah.
reminded me of my grandparents. Every time I saw him, I'd be like, Jim, I'm so proud of, and he's just so like, the edit that he got is who he is. He is just so happy go lucky, positive, sees the glass half full, like just such a sweet guy. And to see him get out on his team challenges, man, they're taking out all these really good players that I wish we could have seen much longer.
That leads me into another question from Miranda Daly, who said, "How frustrating were the team challenges? I know you can do solos, but I was worried about you in those. I was too. It was like watching you get strapped to other competitors, and like your success was completely up to them. That's scary, right?"
Yeah, very, very scary. So we knew going in that there would be team challenges because we had watched the UK version, which
Mhm.
had come out last year. So we knew there would be team challenges, and everyone was worried about it because of that. Like you could be the best at everything, but you get stuck with a bad team on a team challenge, and it's out of your hands. Or you could get put with a team of 12 people that are mediocre, and just all together, you make the worst player. You know what I mean? So it's like the first challenge was so stressful. This was the water bucket challenge. I was on the orange team, which orange is like the new red flag for me. It's like a bad luck color. We did the thing where we would go out in the hallway, we drawed colored dominoes, like we did the survivor tribe swap. I was so excited. I turned it over. It was orange. I looked at everyone on production. I was like, orange. Um, so like for me, that was a bad omen. I was like, all right, I'm going home. I'm going home. It's the first team challenge. Um, and there was one person on my team that was extremely hard to work with. You know me. You know me. When I know what I'm doing and I have an opinion, I'm gonna be heard. I'm not gonna sit back. I will argue with you
Mhm.
until like you understand my point. This wasn't working with this individual. So eventually I was just like, you know what, you're right. This is the best. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. But I was at the front, and knowing very well that I was gonna do whatever I wanted. And we won. So
That's got to be the best part of all the at the beginning I said, "Oh, it sucks. It's not really a social game or whatever." But like for all of that, the advantage of like just being able to yell at people and not have to worry about the repercussions, I'm kind of with that. And you did a fair bit of it, right? I should have pulled the sound clip of you yelling at King David. It was good.
that's the only time so far that I haven't yelled at somebody. And if you ask anyone, including Ken Jong, because that clip made the episode, it was well deserved. Okay. What was he
Yeah.
doing? Like, I'm sure we'll get to the bowling thing and we can talk more about it. But
Yeah, and here's the thing, like I said, I've played, like, challenges with you, and, like, I've seen you be vocal, I know that you're capable of that, but I don't know that I've ever seen you yell the way you did at King David, and I was all for it.
a lot of people, I was getting a lot of messages when the preview for the episode came out because like this is the first season. So we don't really know like what the vibe is, what the edit they want to do, and they're doing a great job with it, I think. But a lot of the first couple episodes there was no real like drama, like no real like spice. Do you know what I mean? So this is the first
Mhm.
preview where it was like um Anna and her husband were yelling at each other. I was yelling at King David. Like it was like all the drama just came in at once. So everyone was messaging me being like, I can't wait for you to dethrone, like take his crown, blah 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 blah. So it was exciting for me knowing that that happened. I really didn't think it would make the edit because they weren't again showing anything that was like spicy or dramatic or like quote unquote aggressive. Um so when it happened I was like, so I was really excited.
The situation with the married couple is probably one of the craziest things I've seen on reality TV in a long time. I mean, I don't think you could have written it better, and that like
Mhm.
the wife had messed up the competition and caused him to lose, and then they had to do the same one, and then she beat him, causing him to have a bit of a hissy fit. Is that couple still together?
Oh my god, yes. They
Okay,
are
good,
so nice. They're actually live out
good.
in Scotland, so they're one of the Wagner family. It was just a case of being in the moment, in the emotions. It's high stakes. They're going against each other. It's frustrating to lose. And you have to remember another thing a lot of people aren't talking about is that Anna in the first round, well, one of them wasn't spinning the disc toward them. They were waiting for it to come to them. Do you know what I mean? So in the
Yeah,
second
yeah, yeah.
round, they're doing something completely different. Maybe if
Uh,
they switched in the first round, they wouldn't have been in the bottom. You know what I mean? So,
yep.
but yeah,
And that's why
they're
you're still
fine.
playing, May.
Period.
Good to hear. Okay, so we heard you the hardest game for you. What was the easiest game for
Uh,
you? What was the highest you placed thus far?
First.
Oh. Oh,
Yes,
okay, yeah, yeah.
first.
True,
In the
true,
pasta
true.
challenge.
I did know that.
Pasta
Yeah, yeah.
challenge is a classic org challenge that if you've played orgs you haven't if you haven't done this pasta challenge. Like it is so I've done it a million times. Knew the strategy going in. A lot of people were getting, I don't know if I'd say frustrated was the right word, but they'd go over games and I'd be like, "Oh, I've done this before. Oh,
Yeah,
I've
okay.
played this before." And everyone's like, "Where? Like what do you
Yeah.
do in your spare time?"
Yeah.
So,
Right, that's so
yeah.
specific. Um, okay, here's a did you have a rival in the game? We've heard about your allies. Did you have anybody that you felt like maybe wasn't on your side?
Not really. It's not good TV to say, but I personally didn't have anybody that I was like, "Oh, I'm really rooting for them to be in the bot." Like not even King David. Like was it satisfying watching him lose? Yes. But
Yeah.
it wasn't like, "Oh, I hope he loses. He's such a dick." No. There was no one that I personally had. There were other people that had some thoughts and feelings, but nothing crazy for me. There are people that I'm like, "Oh, I hope I do better than them." But
Okay, I get that.
nothing crazy.
Okay, good. That's good to hear. Okay, so what about okay, so we talked about King David from
Yep.
John Farrell asked a question. He wanted to know how full of himself was King David actually? Did like he has like this big on-screen personality, but I have to
Mhm.
imagine he takes it back when he's like one-on-one with you, right?
Yeah, I will stand like 10 toes down on business with this opinion on King David. He is so nice off camera. Like, if you don't have a screen recording him, he's just a nice guy. He's a chill guy. The lore
Yeah.
behind King David is that he was on a dating show. I don't know if it was Too Hot to Handle or Perfect Match, like one of those. And he got
Mm.
no camera time, right? So coming into this, the theory, the rumor is that he was like, all right, I'm going to get camera time. And it's working great for him. He was such a
Mhm.
polarizing character. And off camera, nothing but nice. Like we took photos together. He came up to me and was like, hey, like everyone's running out into the circle. Like you should join. Like super nice off camera. Just on camera, really, really hammed it up. I'll never forget. There was one time after you play the games, you can kind of like chat and talk while the crew is like cleaning up and all that stuff. And it was me, Yoshi, Colin, which is one of the Wagner family, and D. And we were just talking so much shit on King David, being like, oh my god, he's such an alpha male, he's so full of him. Because this is before we had been able to talk to him. And I look over and there's like one of the cameras on the side just like zoomed in on the four of us. And I was like, well, great. This is gonna make the edit. So when it didn't make the edit, I was like, whew. So yeah.
Cool. Okay. Let's see. A question from Brian W. He said, "What was your best second win moment? How did you get yourself through some of these prolonged, patient, and stamina-based challenges?"
Yeah. So I'm not an endurance girly whatsoever. Like I'm not a cardio girly. Generally, I'm not a workout girly. But in December of 2024, I stepped on the scale and saw over 200 pounds for the first time. And that was like a wake up call in my life to be like, no, like we can't go any further. So I had already started working out, going on the treadmill. When I started running, my mile was at 18 minutes and 59 seconds, which is atrocious. It's down to like 13 minutes and some seconds now that I've been working on it. So I was in the middle. We filmed in like end of May, beginning of June, and I was already about 20, 25 pounds down at this point. So kind of already working on that portion of me. And this, if anything, pointed out the areas that I needed to work on more. And I think from the competitions that we have seen thus far, the most like endurance, keep at it, I'm out of breath, can I keep going competition was that freaking pants challenge. Because it's all like you would think it's like, oh, these pants are cold. It's going to be a cold challenge. No, this it was a lot of like upper body strength. Just keep going up and back. It was like reverse crunches. I did like 3,000 reverse crunches in an hour to get these pants and thing. And again, it was just Professor Seth. I looked back and I was like, I don't know. I think I'm going to be out. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I had this mental break where I was like, this is it for me. I'm going to lose because of pants. I'm never wearing pants again. Like, tragic moment. And just him being like, listen, come back. We're going to get through this. So that was a real, like, mental part of me. One that I felt so confident in for I don't know what reason was the bowling challenge. I have played that challenge, not bowling wise, but transferring a ball from one end to the other using some kind of pipe. I've done so many times. It's one of my favorite challenges in LRGs, specifically when it involves like chicken wire to get the ball to the top and then roll down, which we didn't even have the chicken wire. Like, this was a less complicated version of one of my favorite challenges, and I end up in the bottom two. So, going into this, there's a moment where you see right before I get the ball to score the winning pin, David looks at me and he goes, "You got this." And my response is just, "I got this." Like, I was like, "Of course. Like, you don't even need to tell me. Like, we're fine." So confident in that for sure. I cannot hear any of your audio.
Because I muted myself for some reason. I don't even know how I did that. Okay. Um, what? So let's talk about some of the other games that we haven't touched on. Is there any other like favorites or least favorites you want to point out?
Gosh, I think the one that everyone was most worried about was the first game. Like, it's like going to tribal at the first tribal council. Like, you don't want to be first boot, like anyone but me, as Queen Sandra would say. And it's literally a game of chance and luck. And I
Mm.
am not known for being too lucky. Like, I will always get the negative thing. Um, so just and that was so crazy because we were all in our circle. This was our first game. Like, our hearts were pounding. We were so nervous. We had to run into this circle. I'm in heels. We're in our running positions. They're like, all right, like, so, like, when the buzzer goes, just go. And we're like, okay, cool. Waiting there, sitting there, like, talking to each other. All of a sudden, the buzzer goes off. I look around like, what was that? Like, I did not know. And then saw everyone else running towards. I was like, oh, I guess I gotta go. Started running in. A lot of my strategies for the games where like everyone had to collide in the middle was to be on the outside because I knew a lot of things would be pushed out. T-shirt challenge, this challenge. So just going around the side, and I remember popping balloons. They had confetti in them. Well, we didn't know what these lays were gonna look like. I didn't know if it was like the little plastic ones or if it was a flower lay. So eventually, like, people were getting them, and I just looked up and I'm like, all right, what am I looking for? What do these lays look like? Okay, then locked in, and on like the sixth or seventh balloon, I got one. So yeah.
Okay, look at you. Okay, let me ask you this. This is, probably like a question that I want to ask everybody that I interview. But I want your specific advice because, again, we've talked about this is, this has been a lifetime journey for you. I want to know what your best advice is for getting on reality TV.
I don't have any. Every time you look up, like, because I'm sure you're like me and you follow all of the casting producers on TikTok and Instagram. If you don't do that, that's my advice. And they'll post these videos. They'll be like, how to get on Big Brother, how to get on The Amazing Race, how to get on Survivor. And it's the same thing over and over again. Just be yourself. Just let your personality shine through. And the two times that I've made it somewhat far in a process, including this time, were times that I was just like, you know what? I've applied so many times. I'm just going to do a video. I'm going to be myself. I'm not going to give a fuck. Sorry, can I cuss on this?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. I'm going to be myself. I'm not going to give a fuck. We'll submit it. And if I don't hear anything, not meant to be. I got a call. So I
Wow.
really do think it's just like I put a lot of pressure on myself. My degree is in mass communication, which like involves video editing. So I'm like really specific. And then when I have a camera on me, I have this on air like camera presence. That's not really my personality. So just kind of being less like, oh, I'm in front of a camera now. Let me like put on a good show for this audition, and more like just just be yourself. As frustrating, because I know it's frustrating to hear from every single person, because you're like, I'm doing that, I'm doing that. Um, yeah, just be yourself, apply, don't give up, keep putting them in. For this one, I thought failed horribly because my video interview with Tom Burkhart, he's the other casting producer that was with me for this process, literally lasted 10 minutes. And I was like, all right, that was great practice for my next time. Didn't think I got it at all. So just keep putting yourself out there and don't give up.
Yeah, and I'll add this, like be yourself, be yourself. I hear that all the time, and I think this applies to you a lot. I think you have to become the person that belongs on reality TV, right? And I'll say this about myself: I didn't know who I was for a long period of time, and I was still doing these videos and like trying to like tell people about myself, but it's like I had nothing figured out. I think the key to it, and I see it in you, is figure out who you are. Figure out who you are and then try to be on a show. Be the person that's supposed to be on reality TV. And I think you built yourself into that person. So, yeah.
I was born this way, okay? I was born this
My bad.
way.
Sorry. My bad.
No, I think
Um,
well, no, yeah, I can agree with that because there's certain ways you can tell your story too. So, like
mhm,
my whole thing is that I'm an only child. I'm from a very small like town that's very conservative. My personality obviously isn't that. I could say that. What I say is like I was born, oh gosh, what's the phrase that I have this phrase that I use all the time now. And it's I was born to be unique in a town that embraces normality. And just the
mm,
way that you phrase it, that catches a little ear. That's a little something different. Or putting something in the beginning that's like, hey, my name's May, and I was a conjoined twin at birth. Or like something that's like actually true that makes you a little different than everyone else. Just like start with that fun fact, then go back and be like, hey, I'm 33, I'm from York, Pennsylvania, and I work in optometry. Let me tell you a little bit more about this. So kind of like it's the same thing they do in like advertisements or TikTok videos or books. If you're a reader, they get you with the hook, and that's what makes the person want to stay and learn more about you.
well said.
Thank you.
Okay, May. I gotta ask this leading up because we're not done with you yet. You've got episodes to go. Who knows? I'm very excited to see how it goes. Is there anything you could say to like tease us?
Legally, no.
Yeah, I guess not. That's true. I guess you cannot do that.
Yeah,
well,
no. I will say that I am extremely excited about being top 50 and so excited to share this experience with people from my community, the LRG, the org community, because all of us, like, this is our dream and not all of us are going to make it. So I'm very blessed and very excited and happy and just over the moon to be able to like share my experience with people from that community. When I started playing LRGs, I had such a bad headspace after I would leave games because I'd be disappointed in myself that I didn't win. Like Real Foot, my first season of Real Foot fans versus favorites. I came in as this was one of the very first games I played. It was a fans versus favorites format. I had never watched Survivor before. I was a big brother girly, never seen Survivor a
okay.
day in my life. I remember sitting down with you at the picnic and you were filming, okay, videos of like, all right, talk to yourself after you've just won the game. And I'm like, well, this isn't going to happen. Good job, I guess. Like I had no faith in myself. And then when I didn't reach that goal that I didn't even think I could do, I was really upset with myself. So I started going into games making like little mental checklists for myself. So at the end of the day, if I didn't win, I could be like, "Oh, well, I completed 4 of my 5 goals." And that's fantastic. And I feel like a lot of people need to get into that headspace that are competitive because it can lead you into a real tailspin of like mental like downers, depression, things like that. So 499 to beat, even going before going out there, I was thinking I was like, "Well, how can I even be upset with myself when these games are like nothing strategic or social?" It's literally like I didn't know what the games were at the time, but it's literally like fishing a duck out of a pond or like finding a t-shirt. Like, how can you be so upset or down on yourself for not
Right.
finding a t-shirt? You do know what I mean? It's kind of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a good way to get yourself into reality TV because it's high stakes, but it's low stake games.
Yeah.
And for coming into this, my first one was, of course, don't be first boot, make it past the first episode. Number wise, top 50 was my first number goal. So when I made top 50, I was elated, so excited, and I'm so excited to share the rest of my journey with you guys. I can't wait for you to see it.
Awesome, May. Again, thank you so much for doing this. I guess we're about wrapping up here. Anything else you want to leave people with? Anything you want to plug? You want to tell people where they can find you online?
Yeah, so TikTok, Instagram, X or Twitter, I don't really use it, but I have one. All the same. It's May Day with three Y's. You can find me on there. I am hosting a Traders format game for the first time this year. It's called Tri-State Traders. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook. We'll be doing just live videos while people are there. You might see some familiar faces on the cast. I don't know.
Okay, love the tease. Okay, May, one more question for you.
Sure.
What is next? Like, did you get to the reality TV itch? Are you still applying, or do you wait for people to come to you now? Like, I don't know how this works.
Excuse me? I've always had the itch. The itch never leaves. It's like a bad infection. Like I'm never
Yeah.
getting
Okay.
rid of it. There's no medication for it. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Yes, absolutely. So Michelle and I are actually applying for the Amazing Race together.
Oh, that would
We
be
got really
cool.
close over this time. Anytime you see there's like a two-player game like potato catch, the disc twerking, Shelly and I are always partners. We work so well together. I always say, like, if you would have told me one of my best friends leaving this game was the owner of a CrossFit gym, I would have told you you were lying. Like, she just, in the most non romantic way possible, so her wife doesn't kill me, Michelle completes me in like a competition sense. She really knows how to motivate me. She's fantastic at things that I'm not good at. I'm good at things that she maybe be lacking in. So I'm really hopeful that we'll get through on something like that. But I'm always, always, always trying for the big three: Tar, Big Brother, Survivor, and of course, I would love to be on the challenge, or even I think we qualify for traders now since we were on a reality show. So I'm gonna see if I can get an in on that. I absolutely like. I feel like I was born to play these games. I've always been outgoing. I've always had a stage presence, and this is what really like. This is what brings me happiness in life, and I'm ready for it. I proved that I can do it, and now I want to prove even more.
Hell yeah. So cool, May. Again, we'll wrap it up there. This was so much fun. Thank you so much for being my first interview. I plan to do many more of these. So I'll always remember that you gave me a chance on the first one, though. So,
Oh, of
May, thank you
course.
again.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it. I guess we can end it there.
perfect.
Boom.
It's been a
I don't
blast.
know. We'll have exit music or something.
Oh,
Or
here, I
not.
got you
Probably not.
ready. Here, I got you. All right, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure to give the multiverse, the mini multiverse. What is it? Multiverse.
Reality Miniverse.
Reality Miniverse. Okay. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure to give Reality Miniverse all the stars, all the likes, all the follows. You're going to see more reality stars to come, bigger, bigger, bigger than me, tons of coverage. And of course, don't forget to watch 99 to Beat on Wednesdays at 9 or next day on Hulu.
You killed it. I quit. You get the podcast. I'll go on 99 to beat.